In this lesson, I'm going to give you some advice on how to practice your speaking and also why it's important to do this. At the end, I'll give you my top tip for practicing speaking if you're on your own. Welcome to IELTSfaster.com. Hi, I'm Scott Somerville, your online IELTS tutor. Today we're going to look at ways that you can practice your speaking for the IELTS exam. If you're new to this channel and you want to see more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. And if you have any ideas about how to practice speaking, leave a comment. And as always, there is a full version of this lesson. Click on the link in the description. So, let's begin. A problem that many students learning English have is how to practice speaking. Who to speak to, what to speak about. Now, we'll come to our tips in a moment, but I want to explain why this is important. In the IELTS speaking exam, the examiner is looking at fluency and coherence. So this is basically, do you speak at a good speed without too many hesitations? And is what you're saying making sense? By practicing regularly, you can address these categories, you can build up your confidence and also build up your vocabulary. There is an expression in English, if you don't use it, you lose it. And this couldn't be more true for learning a language. It's only through using the language that you actually learn it. And if you don't use it, you will forget it and you will lose it. So, on to our tips. Number 1, speak to somebody you know. It's always better to speak to somebody that you actually know. So this could be a friend, a family member, a classmate, maybe a colleague. And it doesn't have to be face-to-face. It could be on Skype, WhatsApp, on Zoom. The important thing here is that you do it regularly. So, every day if possible. Number 2, find a speaking partner. So, if you don't have anybody you can practice your English with, there are many different places you can find one. So the first thing you could look at is IELTS groups on Facebook. There are always people there looking for speaking partners. Another way you could find somebody to speak to is using a chat website, such as Free for Talk. Number 3, what you should talk about. Now, of course, you could just practice IELTS speaking practice tests. But this might become a little boring for both you and the person that you're speaking to. So here's an alternative. Why don't you speak about an article that you've recently read? You can find more details about this in my video on how to read faster. This will improve your general English and also your English for the IELTS exam. Number 4, read tests and think of ideas. When you start reading a lot of speaking practice tests, you'll see that the topics repeat and you'll start to become familiar with them. I'd like you to start reading lots of speaking practice tests and think of ideas of what you would say. So for example, if the topic is about restaurants, think of a restaurant that you like. Number 5, targeted word lists. So now that you're familiar with the topics that come up in the exam, I'd like you to start making some word lists for those topics. Now, don't just create lists of random words. You want to connect these word lists to the ideas you already thought of. So for example, for that restaurant that you like, come up with some good vocabulary to describe it. And finally, my top tip for practicing speaking. Number 6, record yourself and listen back. It's very easy these days to record your voice on your phone, and I'd like you to start doing this with IELTS speaking practice tests. And the most important thing here is that you listen back to the recording. You'll be able to hear some of the mistakes that you commonly make. You'll also be able to assess your fluency and coherence. It's also a good idea to look at the marking criteria for the speaking exam and do your own self-assessment. If you're able to use as many of these tips as you can, you will see improvement. And it's much better to do 15 minutes every day rather than 1 hour a week. So regular practice. How many of these tips have you used yourself? Do you have any other suggestions on how to practice speaking? Please let us know in the comments section. As always, there is a full version of this lesson. Click on the link in the description. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much and see you again soon.